proceed, the psychological order, which is a manifestation of Ishvara. Understand, manifestation means the presence of Ishvara being there in the order. And therefore, in your emotion of fear, Ishvara's presence is there. It's very big, it is. People want a special mind to think of God. When you think of an object, a tree, no other object is in your mind. When you think of a fruit, apple, no other object is in your mind. When you think of your father, no other object is in your mind. When you think of God, no other object is in your mind. When you think of pumpkin, God is replaced. Therefore, God becomes another pumpkin, correct? Another person, replaceable. Then we say God is all-pervasive. You must be a special person to say that. You know who is a special person? Who needs a specialist is a special person. Really. We reduce God to an entity, an object, bound by time and space, and by its own objectivity, by its own nature. It becomes one of the many things in the world. And then we will say he is all-pervasive, etc. It is very unfortunate. The most important thing in our life is the most misunderstood thing. Every whiff of emotion is not away from Ishvara. In that whiff of emotion also is Ishvara present. So that means within the psychological order of Ishvara, which also is Ishvara. Ishvara is everything. The psychological order is a manifestation of Ishvara. Therefore, the sambandha, we have to recognize there is a connection between what happened to one and what one experiences one emotionally. Therefore, anger, for instance, is an expression of pain inside stored. In our culture, we recognize this. Kama yeshaha, krodha yeshaha. First, it is in the form of unfulfilled desire, which is called pain. When you want something to happen, if it doesn't happen, it leaves you in pain. As a child, this pain is stored in the unconscious, it is covered. It is there, but covered. But then it begins to control the whole person. This kind of pain that is there, and more often than not, it comes out in the form of anger, hatred, etc. Here there is anger, let us say. This anger is a manifestation of inner pain. Even though to trigger that anger to happen, you require somebody else outside. That somebody else happens to be your mother or your child or somebody, whoever, and this is the triggering person. That person cannot cause anger to you. Nobody can cause anger to you. Nobody. Nobody has that capacity to cause anger to you. You can deal with that person objectively. If you find that person is unreasonable, you can say you are unreasonable. And you can be reasonable. And we can draw boundaries for ourselves and for others. Remember the word boundary. Lakshman Rekha. You draw boundaries for yourself. You draw boundaries for others. That is intelligent, objective living. If somebody is causing you anger, remember, it has nothing to do with somebody. Somebody is only pressing the button. You are vulnerable. You have your erroneous zone. Somebody wrote a book, Your Erroneous Zone. It's a good book. And your erroneous zone, in the sense your vulnerability. Everyone is vulnerable in some areas. And therefore, anger happens because there is inner pain. We should recognize the external world is not responsible for my anger totally. External world gives a helping hand. But it doesn't have the capacity to cause anger in you. When I say this anger is an emotional born out of your own pain. It is pain that manifests in the form of anger. In our culture, it is recognized kama yeshaha, krodha yeshaha. It is now in the form of unfulfilled desire. First in the form of desire, turns into pain because it was not fulfilled. And therefore, this unfulfilled desire becomes anger now. Kama yeshaha, krodha yeshaha. Therefore, krodha is only a cloak of pain, another modification of pain. That is why after those acting out this anger, acting under the spell of anger, one becomes sad. In anger, one screams, one shouts, one does varieties of things, one beats. Afterwards, becomes sad for one's action. Even when one doesn't regret for the action, there is a sadness descending from nowhere. In fact, that is the pain which is the cause for anger. So if you understand this, anger is not a bad thing, is not a good thing, it is another manifestation of Ishvara's order, the psychological order. Once I say there is connection between a prior condition and obtaining condition, then you understand the glory of Ishvara. This is how Ishvara is manifest. In this, when I recognize this, I am not giving a sanction to victimize somebody when you are angry. In fact, you cannot victimize anybody because you have a legitimate emotion. Your emotion is legitimate. You cannot be otherwise. There is nothing wrong to be angry, nothing wrong to be hateful, nothing wrong to be jealous. Watch my words. I say there is nothing wrong to be jealous, nothing wrong to be hateful, nothing wrong to be angry. No Swami will say this. I say this because it is all Ishvara. But everything is wrong to victimize somebody.